Imagine it's late evening, you're getting ready for bed, making yourself comfortable, and then a devoted gaze. Your four-legged friend stands by the bed, and in their eyes there's only one question: can I join you? That pleading look, raised eyebrows, slightly tilted head, a whole arsenal of canine techniques perfected through thousands of years of evolution alongside humans. A familiar situation, isn't it? The question of whether to let your dog sleep in your bed sparks heated debates among pet owners and specialists alike. Some consider it completely normal and even beneficial, while others are firmly against it. Interestingly, this discussion has deep historical roots. In ancient Egypt, for example, dogs often slept beside their owners and were considered protectors against evil spirits during sleep. In Victorian England, however, keeping a dog in the bedroom was considered a sign of poor taste. Today, we'll examine all the pros and cons of sleeping with your dog and help you determine what works best for you. Let's start with the positives. First, and perhaps most important, is the emotional connection. Sleeping next to your pet strengthens your relationship. Dogs are pack animals, and for them, sharing rest time demonstrates trust and family belonging. When we allow a dog to sleep nearby, we show that we fully accept them into our inner circle. This behavior promotes the production of oxytocin, the attachment hormone, in both humans and animals. Interesting fact: studies show that oxytocin levels increase during interactions between humans and dogs, especially during physical contact. In one experiment, scientists measured oxytocin levels in dog owners before and after 30 minutes of petting and hugging their pets. The results were impressive. Some participants' levels of this hormone increased by 50%. This is why many people note feelings of calm and peace when their beloved pet sleeps nearby. The second advantage is psychological comfort. Many owners note that having a dog in bed provides a sense of security and protection. This is especially relevant for people living alone. A dog's rhythmic breathing, their warmth, and simply knowing there's a living being nearby capable of warning about danger helps you relax and fall asleep more easily. There's even a term therapy dog, referring to pets specially trained to help people with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and other psychological problems. Many war veterans note that having a dog in bed is the only thing that helps them sleep without nightmares. Dogs can detect the slightest changes in human behavior and can wake their owner during a nightmare or panic attack. The third benefit relates to health. Surprisingly, sleeping with your dog can positively affect our physical well-being. The warmth of a dog's body can help with muscle or joint pain. This is because a dog's body temperature is usually higher than a human's, about 38.5 degrees Celsius compared to our 36.6. Therefore, a dog can act as a natural heating pad, improving circulation and relieving muscle tension. Additionally, your pet's steady breathing can act as a form of meditation, helping normalize your own breathing and heart rhythm. Have you ever noticed that you unconsciously synchronize your breathing with a sleeping dog nearby? This isn't coincidental. Our brains automatically synchronize physiological processes with those around us. This phenomenon is called physiological resonance and plays an important role in forming close relationships. Researchers from the University of Arizona conducted a curious experiment which found that women who sleep next to dogs report deeper and more peaceful sleep compared to those sleeping next to cats or another person. Almost 1,000 women of varying ages participated in the experiment, and the results were statistically significant. Surprising, isn't it? The fourth benefit is for our immune system. Paradoxically, contact with a dog, including sleeping together, can strengthen the human immune system. A body regularly exposed to various microorganisms brought in by a dog learns to deal with them more effectively. This theory, known as the hygiene hypothesis, suggests that excessive cleanliness in modern homes may be one reason for the increase in allergic and autoimmune diseases. This is especially true for children. Those growing up in homes with pets suffer less from allergies and asthma. A large-scale study conducted in Finland showed that children who had contact with dogs from an early age had 30% fewer respiratory infections and needed antibiotics, 29% less often in their first year of life compared to children from families without animals. The fifth advantage is the opportunity to better understand your pet. Sleeping together allows you to observe your dog during their most relaxed moments. You can notice how they react to different sounds while sleeping, how their breathing changes, how they move or twitch during dreams. All this provides valuable information about your four-legged friend's character and habits, which can help with training and daily interactions. Did you know that dogs also dream? Scientists have discovered that dogs, like humans, go through phases of rapid and slow sleep. During rapid eye movement sleep, you can observe eye movements under their eyelids, twitching paws, and sometimes even quiet barking or whimpering. It's believed that during this time, they might be reliving the day's events or imagining chasing a cat or squirrel. The sixth benefit is reduced stress and anxiety. A dog's presence nearby can significantly lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, in the human body. This has been confirmed by numerous studies measuring cortisol levels in saliva before and after interaction with dogs. Reduced stress levels, in turn, contribute to better sleep and overall well-being. This effect is especially noticeable in people with high anxiety. For them, a dog in bed can serve as an anchor, helping them stay in the present moment rather than drifting into anxious thoughts about the future. Touching warm fur, feeling rhythmic breathing, all this helps shift focus from anxious thoughts to pleasant tactile sensations. However, despite all these positive aspects, we can't ignore the negatives. Let's examine what disadvantages sleeping with your dog might have. First of all, hygiene. No matter how well you groom your dog, they will still bring a certain amount of hair, dust, and other allergens into your bed. After walks, dirt particles, plant pollen, and microorganisms can remain on your pet's paws and fur. All this ends up on your bedding. Studies show that dog fur can harbor up to 65 different types of bacteria, many of which aren't typically found in human dwellings. Additionally, dogs often lick themselves, and their saliva also contains many microorganisms that can get on your bed. Imagine, your dog has just returned from a walk where they sniffed interesting places, possibly contacted other animals, and maybe even found something very aromatic to roll in. And now this little explorer jumps right into your bed. Doesn't sound very hygienic, does it? The hygiene problem is especially relevant for dogs with long hair or those prone to heavy shedding. Breeds like Huskies, German Shepherds, and Golden Retrievers can leave impressive amounts of hair on your bed, which is then very difficult to remove. Hair can penetrate deep into mattress and pillow fabric, becoming a constant source of allergens. The second disadvantage is sleep disruption. Although for some people, a dog's presence promotes sound sleep, for others it can be quite the opposite. Dogs may snore, move around, twitch during sleep, take up most of the bed, or simply lie in an inconvenient place. Some pets may even get up in the middle of the night, jump off the bed, and then return, all of which certainly disrupts your rest. A dog's sleep cycle also differs from humans. Dogs usually sleep 12 to 14 hours a day, but not continuously like humans. They sleep in short periods of 20 to 30 minutes. Between these periods, they may wake up, change position, drink water, or simply scan their surroundings. Each such awakening can potentially disturb your sleep as well. A study conducted by the Mayo Clinic showed that about 20% of dog owners experience sleep problems because of their pets. The most common complaints include waking during the night due to the dog's movements, inability to find a comfortable position because the pet takes up too much space, and allergic reactions manifesting as nasal congestion or sneezing. This isn't surprising since dogs' sleep differs from humans. They may sleep very lightly, reacting to the slightest sounds, or conversely fall into deep sleep with active dreams accompanied by twitching paws and even light barking. The third disadvantage involves potential behavioral problems. By allowing your dog to sleep in your bed, you may unintentionally contribute to separation anxiety. The pet becomes accustomed to constant contact with you and may experience stress when you're not around. This can manifest in destructive behavior, damaging furniture, loud barking or howling, attempts to escape from home, or even refusing food. Separation anxiety is especially common in certain dog breeds such as Border Collies, Weimaraners, German Shepherds, and Labradors. These breeds are characterized by high intelligence and strong attachment to their owners, making them more vulnerable to loneliness stress. Additionally, some dogs, especially small breeds, may develop small dog syndrome when the animal begins to excessively guard its place, in this case your bed, and even show aggression toward other people or animals trying to approach. This happens because the dog perceives the bed as its territory and feels obligated to protect it. One dog trainer told a story about a miniature Chihuahua named Bella who slept in her owner's bed and eventually became so territorial that she growled and tried to bite anyone who approached the bed, including the owner's husband. Domestic harmony was disrupted, and the couple even considered sleeping in separate rooms. It took several months of intensive work with a behavioral specialist to correct the situation and teach Bella more balanced behavior. The fourth disadvantage relates to impacts on personal relationships. If you don't live alone, a dog's presence in bed can become a source of conflict. Your partner might not share your love for sleeping with a pet or might have allergies. Additionally, a dog between you can literally and figuratively create a barrier in your relationship, limiting intimacy and personal space. According to a survey conducted among couples where one partner insisted on having a dog in bed while the other opposed it, about 30% noted that this became a cause of serious conflicts. In 10% of cases, couples even considered separate sleeping arrangements or sought help from a family psychologist to resolve this issue. Interestingly, in some cultures, sleeping with animals is taboo altogether. For example, in Japan, where sleeping on futons laid on the floor is already common, you rarely find families where dogs are allowed to sleep in their owners' beds. Dogs there usually have their own separate sleeping place, often in another room. The fifth disadvantage involves potential health problems. Although we've discussed potential benefits for immunity, there's also a flip side. Dogs can carry various parasites such as fleas or ticks, which are potentially dangerous for humans too. Additionally, if you have allergies to dog hair or saliva, sleeping together can significantly worsen your well-being and quality of rest. People with weakened immune systems, pregnant women, and young children should be especially careful. Their risk of contracting zoonotic infections, infections transmitted from animals to humans, is significantly higher. Such infections include leptospirosis, ringworm, and certain types of parasitic infestations. Medical practice has documented cases where people sleeping with their dogs contracted rare infections. For example, in 2016, there was a case where a woman was infected by her dog with the bacterium Capnocytophaga canamorsus, which led to a serious infectious disease with fever and even required hospitalization. The sixth disadvantage concerns possible effects on a dog's behavior during walks and in public places. Dogs allowed to sleep in their owner's bed sometimes start to perceive themselves as equal to humans or even higher in the pack hierarchy. This can lead to disobedience, ignoring commands, and even aggressive behavior toward other dogs or people. Many professional trainers note that dogs who sleep separately from their owners often show better results in learning and training. They're more attentive to commands, better understand the boundaries of acceptable behavior, and are generally more psychologically balanced. Interestingly, according to statistics, about 45% of dog owners allow their pets to sleep in their beds. That's almost half. But what's even more interesting is that this figure varies significantly depending on country and culture. For example, in the USA, the proportion of such owners reaches 56%, while in Japan it's only 18%. In Spain and Italy, countries with warm climates where dirt dries faster and sticks less to dogs' paws, this figure is about 60%. Does this mean that sleeping together is the norm? Not exactly. It all depends on the specific situation, breed and size of the dog, your lifestyle, and personal preferences. There's no universal rule that would suit all owners and all dogs. If you've decided you want to sleep with your dog but are concerned about hygiene, there are several simple rules that will help make sleeping together more comfortable and safe. First of all, regularly wash your dog's paws after walks. Use special wet wipes or set up a small foot bath by the front door. This will help minimize the amount of dirt your dog brings home. This is especially important in rainy weather or during active snow melting when streets are particularly dirty. There are even special devices for washing paws that resemble small cups with silicone bristles inside. You simply place your dog's paw in there, add a little water, gently rotate the device, and wipe the paw dry. This takes less than a minute but significantly improves the hygiene of your home and bed. Keep your pet's coat clean. Regularly brush them, bathe as needed, and treat them for parasites. Remember that a clean dog is not only pleasant but also beneficial for the health of all family members. Bathing frequency depends on the dog's breed, coat type, and lifestyle. Short-haired dogs usually need bathing once every 1 to 2 months, while long-haired breeds or dogs who spend a lot of time outdoors may require more frequent washing. Consider special shampoos with repellent effects that not only clean the coat but also repel fleas and ticks. There are also dry shampoos for dogs that can be used between full baths to freshen the coat. Change your bedding more frequently. If you sleep with a dog, changing sheets once a week or even more often would be ideal. You can also use special protective covers for mattresses and pillows that are easy to remove and wash. These covers are usually made from waterproof materials and have zippers, making them very convenient to use. An interesting alternative could be the special antibacterial fabric sprays that neutralize odors and kill bacteria. These can be used to treat bedding between washes. Some of these products even contain components that make hair removal easier during subsequent washing. Consider a separate blanket for your dog. Let your pet have their own small corner on your bed with their own blanket or throw. This will help keep your bedding cleaner and create a psychologically comfortable personal space for your dog. Many dogs prefer to sleep curled up on a soft surface, and their own blanket can become an ideal place for them. Choose materials that are easy to wash and dry quickly for this purpose. Fleece throws can be an excellent option. They're soft, pleasant to the touch, don't accumulate odors, and can be washed frequently without losing quality. Additionally, hair doesn't typically stick too strongly to fleece, which makes maintenance easier. Establish boundaries. Even if you allow your dog to sleep in your bed, it's important that they understand this is a privilege, not a right. The dog should leave the bed on first request and not show aggression when asked to leave. From the very beginning, it's necessary to teach your dog the commands place and off, which they should obey unquestioningly. A good practice is to allow the dog on the bed only by invitation. This can be a special command such as come to bed or simply patting the bed. It's important that the dog understands they can be on the bed only when permitted and should calmly leave when asked. Curious fact, studies show that dogs who understand their place in the family hierarchy and follow established rules feel more calm and confident. This is explained by the fact that in nature, wolves, from which dogs descended, live in packs with a clear hierarchical structure. Understanding their place in this structure gives the animal a sense of safety and predictability in their world. So clear boundaries are a way of caring for your pet's psychological comfort. If you've decided that sleeping together isn't for you, but your dog is already accustomed to sleeping in your bed, retraining them may not be simple, but it's certainly possible. Start by creating a comfortable sleeping place separate from your bed. This could be a special dog bed, basket, or even a small couch located near your bed. When choosing a bed for your dog, pay attention to its size, firmness, and material. The bed should be spacious enough for the dog to stretch out fully, but not too large so that it maintains a feeling of coziness and security. It's good if the bed has raised sides that the dog can rest their head against. Regarding firmness, it all depends on the age and health condition of your pet. Young and healthy dogs usually prefer more resilient surfaces, while older animals or dogs with joint problems will be more comfortable on orthopedic mattresses with memory foam. Make this place attractive. Put your dog's favorite toys there, use pheromone sprays that have a calming effect, or add a piece of clothing with your scent. Some owners even place an old t-shirt or pajamas they've slept in for several nights on the new bed. The owner's scent helps the dog feel safe in the new place. It's proven that dogs have incredibly sensitive smell. They can detect scents in concentrations 100,000 times smaller than humans can sense. For comparison, if we had such a sense of smell, we could detect a teaspoon of sugar dissolved in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools of water. Therefore, even the faint smell of your clothing is a powerful source of information and comfort for your dog. Gradually accustom your dog to the new place using positive reinforcement, treats and praise when they rest there. You can use the gradual distancing method. First place the bed next to your bed, then gradually, day by day, move it farther away until it reaches the place where you want your dog to sleep permanently. The anchor method works very effectively when you associate a specific command, for example place, with a specific action and reward. Each time your dog lies on their bed, say the command and immediately give a treat. Gradually, the dog will begin to associate the command with the action and subsequent reward, making the transition to a new sleeping place more natural. Be consistent and patient. If you've decided that your dog no longer sleeps in your bed, don't make exceptions, even if your pet looks at you with the saddest eyes in the world. Dogs are masters of manipulation, and they quickly learn to use their charm to achieve what they want. If you give in even once and allow your dog to climb into bed just for tonight, be prepared that all progress may be undone. Remember that dogs are creatures of habit, and over time they adapt to new rules. Changing habits can take from several days to several weeks, depending on your dog's character and stubbornness. But with a consistent approach and positive reinforcement, success is guaranteed. Interestingly, some dog breeds adapt to new rules more easily than others. For example, Labradors, Golden Retrievers, and Collies usually quickly get used to a new sleeping place. Terriers, Dachshunds, and Hounds, known for their stubbornness, may require more time and patience from the owner. It's important to note that the decision about sleeping together is also influenced by the dog's breed. Small breeds, such as Chihuahuas, Maltese, or Yorkshire Terriers, usually create fewer problems in bed due to their size. They take up little space, produce less hair, and generally disrupt their owner's sleep less with their movements. But with large breeds, such as German Shepherds, Labradors, or Saint Bernards, difficulties may arise due to how much space they occupy. Imagine having an animal weighing 30 to 40 kilograms lying next to you on the bed. Additionally, large dogs typically shed more and may snore louder than small breeds. Medium-sized breeds such as Beagles, Cocker Spaniels, or Shelties occupy an intermediate position. They're not as bulky as large dogs, but can still take up a significant portion of the bed, especially if they like to stretch out full length. Special mention should be made of dog breeds with thick double coats, such as Huskies, Akitas, or Kishans. They shed year-round, but especially intensively twice a year, spring and fall. During seasonal shedding periods, your bed can turn into a real wolf farm, creating additional challenges for maintaining cleanliness. Interestingly, some breeds are known for their tendency to snore. For example, pugs, bulldogs, Pekingese, and other brachycephalic, short-snouted dogs. Their special respiratory tract anatomy often leads to difficult breathing, especially during sleep, which manifests as snoring, snuffling, or even grunting. If your pet belongs to such a breed, be prepared that their snoring may disturb your sleep. There are also breeds known for their activity during sleep. Greyhounds, for example, often actively move their paws, imitating running during dreams. And hunting breeds, such as pointers or setters, may make quiet sounds resembling barking or whimpering when they dream of hunting. Another factor worth considering is the dog's age. Puppies may not control their bladders during sleep, which creates obvious problems. Their muscles controlling urination aren't fully developed yet, and they may not feel the urge to go to the bathroom during deep sleep. Therefore, many specialists recommend not letting puppies into bed at least until they're fully house-trained. This usually happens between 4 and 6 months of age, but can vary depending on breed and individual characteristics. Small breeds usually take longer to house-train because they have smaller bladders and need more frequent bathroom visits. On the other hand, elderly dogs may suffer from joint problems, and climbing onto a high bed might be difficult or even painful for them. Arthritis, hip dysplasia, and other age-related musculoskeletal problems are very common among older dogs, especially large breeds. In this case, consider special steps or ramps that will help your pet safely climb onto and off the bed. Such devices usually have a non-slip surface and side rails for safety. They can be either stationary or foldable, which is convenient for storage. Training a dog to use steps or a ramp is usually not difficult. A few training sessions using treats as rewards are sufficient. Older dogs may also suffer from urinary or fecal incontinence, which is another argument against sleeping together. This problem is especially common among dogs older than 10 years and may be related to hormonal changes, weakening pelvic floor muscles, or neurological disorders. In such cases, it's better to arrange a separate sleeping place for your pet that can be easily cleaned if necessary. Special attention should be paid to how sleeping together affects the relationship between owner and dog. Many owners note that after they started sleeping with their pet, the dog became more obedient and attentive to their commands. This is explained by the strengthening of the bond between human and animal. Neurobiologists explain this phenomenon by the release of oxytocin, a hormone that plays a key role in forming social bonds and trust. During physical contact, including during sleep, oxytocin levels increase in both humans and dogs, contributing to the formation of a deeper emotional connection. Ethologists, scientists who study animal behavior, also note that sleeping together can contribute to a dog's finer understanding of their owner's emotional state. Dogs are naturally very sensitive to the slightest changes in human behavior and physiology. During sleep, this connection can strengthen, as the dog spends a long time in the close proximity to the owner, picking up their scent, breathing, heartbeat, and other physiological indicators. However, there's also a downside. Some dogs begin to perceive access to the owner's bed as an indicator of their high status in the pack, and may start exhibiting dominant behavior. This can manifest in reluctance to follow commands, aggressive protection of food or toys, growling when attempting to move them off the bed, and other dominance displays. Scientific research on this topic yields conflicting results. Some scientists claim that the concept of dominance in human-dog relationships is outdated and doesn't correspond to the modern understanding of dog behavior. Others insist that hierarchical relationships do play a role, especially in breeds with strongly expressed protective or territorial instincts. That's why it's so important to establish clear rules and boundaries from the beginning. The dog must understand that access to the bed is a privilege that can be revoked, not an inherent right. This will help avoid behavioral problems in the future. Another point often forgotten is the impact of sleeping together on dog training. If you've just started training and want your pet to clearly follow commands and observe established rules, it might be worth temporarily giving up sleeping together. This will help the dog better understand the family hierarchy and their place in it. Professional trainers often recommend creating a clear day structure for dogs during active training periods, in which a separate sleeping place plays an important role. When basic obedience skills are already formed and the dog has learned to observe established boundaries, you can return to the question of sleeping together. Interestingly, attitudes towards sleeping with dogs vary greatly across different cultures and historical periods. In ancient Egypt, for example, dogs not only slept next to their owners but were considered sacred animals capable of protecting against evil spirits during sleep. In some traditions of North American indigenous peoples, dogs also functioned as protectors and living heaters on cold nights. But in Victorian England, keeping a dog in the bedroom, let alone in bed, was considered a sign of poor taste and insufficient upbringing. Dogs were supposed to sleep in special areas for animals, separate from their owners. This tradition was especially strong among the aristocracy and middle class who aspired to imitate high society. In the modern world, attitudes towards sleeping with dogs are becoming more tolerant. In major European and American cities, where dogs are increasingly viewed as full family members, sleeping together is becoming the norm for many owners. This is also facilitated by a growing number of studies confirming the positive impact of dogs on human psychological well-being. In conclusion, the question, should I let my dog sleep in my bed, has no definitive answer. It's a deeply personal decision that depends on many factors: your preferences and lifestyle, the characteristics of your dog's breed and temperament, the health condition of both you and your pet, and the overall family situation. If you decide to allow your dog to sleep in your bed, remember the need to maintain cleanliness, establish clear boundaries, and monitor the impact of this decision on your pet's behavior and your sleep quality. If you prefer your dog to sleep separately, create a comfortable place for them and use positive reinforcement to form new habits. Regardless of which decision you make, remember that the most important thing is love and care for your four-legged friend. Dogs are amazing creatures capable of adapting to various conditions if they feel loved and valued. Evolution has shaped in them a remarkable ability to understand our emotions and adapt to our lifestyle. This ability is the result of thousands of years of joint evolution between humans and dogs. Scientists believe that dogs were the first domesticated animals. This process began about 15 to 20,000 years ago. During this time, special neural connections developed in dogs' brains, responsible for recognizing human emotions and interpreting our gestures and facial expressions. This makes dogs uniquely suitable for the role of human companions. And finally, a small piece of advice: listen to your feelings. If sleeping with your dog brings you joy and comfort, if you wake up rested and happy, then this is the right decision for you. If not, don't be afraid to establish new rules. Your dog will understand and accept them because the main thing for them is to be near you, whether on the bed or beside it. Ultimately, your four-legged friend wants only one thing: to be part of your life and your family. And they will be happy whether sleeping at your feet, in their bed next to yours, or in another room, as long as they know they are loved and accepted. It is this unconditional love that makes our dogs such special companions in our lives. Thank you for your attention. I hope this information helped you understand the complex issue of sleeping with your four-legged friend. Take care of yourself and your pets, and remember that whatever decision you make, the most important thing is the happiness and health of all your family members, including the four-legged ones.